So this is documentation of that letter to the Palladium. This is what Albert Pike called it. That which we say to the crowd is we worship God, but it is the God that one worships without superstition. The religion should be by all us initiates of the high degrees maintained in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. Yes, Lucifer is God, and unfortunately Adonai is God also. For the absolute can exist only as two gods. The concept of good and evil, like from Babylon. Thus the doctrine of Satanism is a heresy. They believe that the teaching of who Satan was created by the church is false. And the true and pure philosophical religion is a belief in Lucifer, the equal of Adonai, and that's the one they call the God of the Christians. But Lucifer, God of light, God of good, is struggling for humanity against Adonai, the God of darkness and evil. And they teach that this God of evil, this God of the dark forces, which the entire world must now move into a state of mind, through transition of mind to repel, will be coming through the corridors of Orion very soon. And the world must be all occult to repel it. These are movements taking place today in the New Age movement. We shall unleash the nihilist, the atheist, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm which in all its horrors will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization. The multitudes disillusioned with Christianity, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. Finally, out in public view, a manifestation which will result from the general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity, atheism. Both conquered and exterminated at the same time. He laid out a plan that this would take place in 3 world wars. The last world war would result in Palestine, and this was Pike's plan. Listen, this was Pike's plan before the turn of the century. Last war would be, the Third World War, they said, would be to raise up the power of the Arab nations and the power of Palestine, get the entire world on one side or the other, and then bring about incidents for an international destruction. That was their plan before the turn of the century. This is an example of one of these types of characters. This is Aleister Crowley, and here you see he was a 33rd 95-degree Mason. I don't know what that means, I'll tell you. He was one of the highest ranking Rosicrucians in this time. He took out the charter in San Jose. And we also know that he was a high-ranking initiate in what was called the Golden Dawn, or the Jewish Kabbalism that was set up for the elite in England. And this is the law that he established. And it goes something like this: the law of the strong, this is our law, and the joy of the world. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And at the end of it, he says, man has a right to kill those who would thwart these rights. The slave shall serve. And these people believe this in these societies. There's no doubt about it. Because of the way they're working, it's very, very evident. In Nesta Webster's book, Secret Societies and Subversive Movements, she, as a Christian, drawing from Christian sources, viewed the Jews as responsible for this. Now, it's true that there were Jews involved in it, but by far it wasn't all Jews. In fact, those who had established the international banking system that financed most of this were not even blood Jews. They were called Khazar Jews. They were Northeastern Europeans that had converted to Judaism on the surface. But this is Amschel Meyer. He is the father of a family that became international bankers. He sent sons to the different nations of Europe. Those sons financed every part of the revolution and for those governments. And then when the economies of Europe began to collapse, the people had to turn to these people that they had borrowed their money from, and they turned over the control of their economy to these men. They still have a tremendous amount of control in the world today. Again, back to my little book, The Fiery Jesuits, from Pacific Union College. There it describes that the Jesuits were given authority over banking by the Roman Catholic Church. They took vows to become the Jews among the Jews and enter into the world of banking and business. As finance is really the power in this world, and the Roman Church has the largest amount of gold of any organization, it's pretty clear that although we might see a facade of Zionism or a facade of Illuminism, behind it is the financial dynasty of 1,500 years of grasping the wealth of the world by the Roman Catholic Church. Now, working closely with the Satanist Luciferian Mazzini was a man by the name of Karl Marx. Marx was not prominent in the secret society, but he and Engels were used to lay out the ideology of the communists to be used to start a revolution throughout the world. Following him, of course, Lenin picked it up. Lenin was a brilliant genius, no doubt about it. He studied in London, where most of these men were trained. And this is a plan that he laid out in 1917. The first thing was to secure the western borders through a takeover of the Baltic states and so on, and that was happened during the Second World War finally. But remember, 1917 was when it was planned. Gain control of the Far East through subversive attacks on Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, and so on, and that's why we had trouble in Korea and Vietnam. It was Lenin's plan back in 1917. Gain control of Africa, the Mediterranean, the Indian Ocean, and all the waterways. And just before I came over here, there was a great big blow-up as it appears that Panama is turning to the communists. And we may lose that waterway now, too, as the Suez Canal and all these others. That was Lenin's plan. Gradually subject all of Latin America into communist rule, beginning with Cuba. Why Cuba? It was Lenin's plan. Once Russia has exercised control of the world, take over the United States when she is outgunned and completely surrounded. And we have a terrible thing developing now in the government of Mexico. Just before I left home, the government invited a Russian warship to come into their harbor in the Western Hemisphere. And this is a portent for a dangerous situation where Mexico will become a revolutionary force, and our borders, then you see, would become surrounded. The revulsion by the Buddhists of the terror of Catholic persecution of these poor people created the horrible situation in Vietnam. Those priests and nuns that were burning themselves to death there were not doing it against communism. They were doing it against a government that was controlled by the Roman papacy, backed by the United States, and suppressing all other religions in that community. When we look at what happened in Vietnam, we see clearly the involvement of Catholicism and the Jesuits working to confuse and destroy the world. This was Stalin's intermediate goal, which was to confuse, disorganize, and destroy the forces of capitalism around the world. Bring all nations together into a single world system of economy, force the advanced countries to pour a prolonged financial aid into the underdeveloped countries, and then divide the world into regions, such as the regions we have right now, in preparation for coming into a dictatorship of the UN. And we can see things moving along very well. The United States is almost always voted against in the UN by the third world countries today. The growth of communism, its spread today, has been so phenomenal that those who refuse to acknowledge that it is a part of revelation and biblical prophecy are hiding their heads in the sand, and prophecy is passing them right by. On January 4, 1864, Ellen White was shown that before Lincoln's administration, the former administration had been planned and managed for the South to rob the North of their implements of war. They were contemplating a determined rebellion. The North did not understand the bitter, dreadful hatred of the South towards them and were unprepared for the deep-laid plots. So it was a conspiracy in the United States, years before the war broke out, by the papacy-controlled South to take the, I was going to say this country over, I'm sorry, I forgot where I was, to take over the United States. And in taking over the United States, they will inevitably take over the entire civilized world. They know that. In the book 50 Years in the Church of Rome by Chiniquy, he documents here his lawyer was Abraham Lincoln to defend him in a court case. Here's the bill that Lincoln wrote out, $50. Anyway, when Lincoln became president, he made these statements to Father Chiniquy, who became, it was during the time we were to give our message to the world, and he was traveling all over warning the world that Catholicism was Babylon. But this is what Lincoln said: "Unfortunately, I feel more and more every day that it is not against the Americans of the South alone I am fighting. It is more against the Pope of Rome, his perfidious Jesuits, and the blind and bloodthirsty slaves." And this is quoted from Abraham Lincoln. I have a lot more on this, but I can only give a few excerpts from this talk. "Is it not an absurdity," says Lincoln, "to give to a man a thing which he has sworn to hate, curse, and destroy? And does not the Church of Rome hate, curse, and destroy liberty of conscience whenever she can do it safely? I cannot give liberty of conscience to the Pope and to his followers, the papists, so long as they tell me, through all their councils, theologians, and canon laws, that their conscience orders them to burn my wife, strangle my children, and cut my throat when they find their opportunity." You'll find out the war between the states was a religious war, but this was kept from the media. Abraham Lincoln said, the leading families of the South have received their education in great part, if not in whole, from the Jesuits and the nuns, hence those degrading principles of slavery, pride, and cruelty. And Ellen White says that slavery is going to return in the South. President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by the priests and the Jesuits of Rome. Booth was nothing but a tool of the Jesuits, says Chiniquy after he went over the court cases, and it all came out in the court case.